Another week, boys, and another TWAB. This week at Bungie, happy Tuesday, Guardians. And Bungie's really trying to drive the twid there. We are back this week with some previous and new rewards to earn. How have you been enjoying the season, the Witch story? How many altars have you completed so far? Thoughts on Checkmate? Speaking of Checkmate, keep reading to learn about some changes coming soon. Make sure you're sounding off on socials so our team can read your feedback. First up, let's refresh what we talked about last week. We had the Jump Master campaign has landed, crafting shenanigans, what happened, deterministic recall, what is it and why is it so heckin' cool, treasure vault adventures await. So we heard you wanted a Thorn Catalyst, that is a huge addition there. The Pale Heart to wait. The team had a little too much fun with the new supers coming out in the final shape. A little bit of lo-fi makes everything better. Now with Eris, Prime Gaming Update, Yeet the Smolin Fun Club. Now topics for this week, new rewards to earn, a preview of next week's Checkmate weapon update, and Gunsmith Focus Road Ingrams. All right, so fairly light this week. Okay. Now, new Nightfall and Trial rewards. Have you jumped into this week's Nightfall yet? If not, there's a new precision bow for you to earn. Speaking of new weapons, when Trials comes back this weekend, we have a new grenade launcher in that loot pool too. Let's check out what we've got coming. It's actually a good one. Now, for the bow, we have a review coming out on this, guys. It's a precision bow with that Cassoid origin trait, the one that drops the Celestial bolts. We were actually playing with it in PvP just here recently. It's really good, but it is phenomenal inside of PvE. It's got perks like Perpetual Motion, Archer's Tempo, Shoot to Loot, Enlighten Action, Incandescent, Successful Warm-Up, Explosive Head, all those good things. It's a solid weapon. Now for the grenade launcher. The new Trials grenade launcher, Cataphract GL3, is an adaptive heavy grenade launcher and is Shran. Omlon Foundry, left column has Impulse Amplifier, Envious Assassin, Field Prep, Slick Draw and Line Action, Auto Loading Holster, and Demolitionist. Right column, Cascade Point, Chain Reaction, Explosive Light, Hatchling, Full Court, Vorpal Weapon, and Bait and Switch. Yes, we have a grenade launcher with Bait and Switch. Also want to mention, guys, I still see people using things like machine guns and rocket launchers inside of PvP as their heavy choice. You can use those things, but hands down, any heavy grenade launcher with Impulse Amplifier is so good. And you could do like, I don't know, like Impulse Amplifier, full court if you want here. But preferably for me, I would want Chain Reaction, Impulse Amplifier with like proxy nades for PvP. And then for my PvE role, definitely like a bait and switch role with like Envious Assassin probably. If I can, because Envious Assassin got a buff where it's much easier to proc now. And you could just, blow your load with the full damage there. Now, Checkmate weapons update. For Checkmate's initial weapon tuning, we wanted to make sure that our mid-range primary weapons options had a bit room to breathe. So we rebalanced the other weapon types somewhat conservatively. We did this because in early playtests, it quickly became obvious that a sandbox would dramatically reduce uptime for special ammo and abilities to introduce a new issue to the game. With most of their counters no longer able to see consistent play, it enabled fast time to kill primary weapons that operate at the extreme edges of either close or long range to dominate. Diving with submachine guns and sidearms became increasingly hard to deal with as players learned that other primary weapons could not kill as fast, and our mid-range options struggled to compete. Similarly, we reduced the lethality of close-range primary weapons to bring them more in line with our mid-range options. Scout rifles became oppressive without the threat of sniper rifles to keep them in check and prevent players from engaging at extremely long ranges. In addition, we wanted to avoid initially making any extremely jarring shifts in time to kill. For example, things like 140 round per minute hand cannons taking 4 shots to kill across the board. So we limited how much we moved the TTK in general. After seeing Checkmate in the wild for a week, we saw there was a substantial gap between hand cannon performance and the rest of primary weapon sandbox. So while keeping our original goals in mind of allowing mid-range weapons to shine in this mode, we are making a limited set of balance changes designed to narrow the gap without pushing faster TTK primary weapons back into dominance. For example, submachine guns and sidearms will now revert to killing in under 0.8 seconds due to the increased player health pools. But we do want to give them a little more forgiveness and encourage some additional variety among weapon choices. Weapons like adaptive and rapid-fire pulse rifles have come back to their standard optimal TTK, while most of the weapons have moved to within a single shot difference. While most of our tuning is focused on bringing other archetypes up closer to the top level of primary weapon performance, we're going to be reducing hand cannon damage. This will not affect their optimal time to kills against standard resilience, but will instead act as a reduction in effective range and reduce their forgiveness and effectiveness against higher resilience targets. We look forward to playing with these changes in the live game alongside you, and will continue to iterate on the sandbox as needed. All right, let's go to the actual changes before we get into the discussion of checkmates. Here are the weapon changes coming to checkmate next week. Increased damage penalty on Devil's Ruin Laser Beam, 10 to 15%. Fighting Lion, 0 to 20%. Bows, 0 to 10%. Reduced damage penalty on sidearms, 10% to now 5%. Submachine guns, 5% to 0%. Scout rifles, 10% to 9%. Increased bonus damage on auto rifles, 0% to 2%. Pulse rifles, 0% to 5%. And reduced bonus damage on hand cannons, 10% to now 7%. Correct an issue where this was allowing Vex Mythoclast to benefit from the bonus damage for special ammo fusion rifles. Let me just say, my favorite archetype of weapon inside of Checkmate has been Rapid Fire Pulse, most notably Oversoul Edict. It's been really, really good. It's kind of interesting that Bungie's making sandbox changes to a game mode that is not a permanent game mode. That's what I'm finding most interesting here. And remember, what I suspect is that Checkmate is more than just a game mode Bungie is advertising as a game mode that jumps in the game. If this is a game mode that everyone really likes, if you like this sandbox, and we are going to be playing more Checkmate over the next few days, if you like checkmates, this could easily become the norm. This could easily be base TTK levels, everything that you experience in Checkmate could be what you experience in regular Crucible. It could be the regular Crucible playlist. I'm not gonna lie, when I read this and I see this, I almost feel like Bungie wants Checkmate to be our new sandbox. The biggest issue with Checkmate and what Bungie's gonna have to combat is deathballing. You know, that was the meta back in D2 Vanilla. The meta was, how well can you stick to your teammates and walk around a corner together, you know, with a variety of different weapons. It didn't really matter, but the point is like deathballing was the thing. We didn't have many options to break that up. We didn't have special weapons. Checkmate's different because you actually can earn the special ammo, right? But we didn't have super strong abilities back in D2 Vanilla. You also had slower time to kill values, kind of in line with Checkmate. And this resulted in everyone committing to that deathballing mentality. Now, Gunsmith Focusing enters the chat. Oh, starting in Season 23, Banshee 44 will offer focusing options for select Foundry weapons. Gunsmith Focusing is designed to offer players a way to chase after the dream roll of old Foundry weapons while reducing the ever-growing size of the legendary roll pool. Now, what weapons will be available? The select focusing option that Banshee 44 will offer are for weapons released from Season 16 up to 19, which means these weapons are at least 4 seasonal releases old. That is 1 year. These weapons will no longer be obtainable from legendary Ingram world drops and instead will be only available from Gunsmith Ingrams and Focusing. Season 23 Gunsmith and Focusing will include from Suros, Cantata, wow, Syncopation, Fugu, Staccato, Furitoria. So wait a minute. Okay. Let me get this right. So you will be able to focus these weapons directly. But keep in mind, things like Syncopation already has a craftable roll. But these other weapons you can't craft. So it's interesting they actually put Syncopation on there. From Hockey, we have Palmyra, Perseus D, Ragnhild, Inya, Boudica, Lodbrok. All right. Vice, we have Crate, Redback, Funnel Web, Luna Lada, Tapan, Jirakaraka. Jirakaraka's nice. Amalon, you have the Snorri, which is, in my opinion, one of the best fusion rifles in the game, guys. Truly. Like, better than the main ingredient. Typhon, Ogma, Galu. Galu's actually really, really good. It's a good sniper rifle. Amit and Arvandil. Now, in Season 24, we are planning to update this list with Season 20 weapons for existing foundries, as well as adding a new category for field forged weapons. Gunsmith Focusing will also be replacing Banshee's 44's 6-count weapons section. The following weapons will be moved out of the roll pool. These will not be available from Gunsmith Ingrams or Focusing, but will instead be occasionally available from Xur instead. That includes Contingency Plan, Legal Action, The Number, Memory Interdict, Pleiades Corrector, the Deicide, the Vision, and Stochastic Variable. All right, you're not missing out on much. Now, how will these weapons rotate? Banshee 44 will offer 2 foundries at a time. For example, Suros and Hockey. After each daily reset, one of these foundries will rotate out for another, effectively allowing each foundry to have the spotlight for 2 days in a row. Now for season 23, the rotation schedule looks like day 1, Amlan Suros. Day 2, Suros Hockey. Day 3, Hockey Vice. Day 4, Vice Amlan. After the 4th day, the rotation repeats itself. This is subject to change as we add more foundries in future releases. Now, how much will they cost? Gunsmith Focusing costs will be in parity with how much Focusing Ritual Weapons cost. So 3 Gunsmith Ingrams, so much, and 5,000 Glimmer. Now, how can I get Gunsmith Ingrams? We are aware that ranking up Gunsmith reputation alone is not an ideal way to earn Gunsmith Ingrams. We've taken that into account and have decided to include more ways to obtain Gunsmith Ingrams. So ranking up Gunsmith Rep, Lost Sector Completions, Normal 20%, Legend Solo and Platinum 40%, Master Solo and Platinum 60%, and then Free Roam Chess 20%. Ah, okay. Yeah, if it was going to stay the way it is now, it would be terrible. But yeah, like a master run of a Lost Sector, you get 60% toward an Ingram. And then, hold on. Free Roam Chess. This may actually be even faster. You go and put your Ghost mod on, guys, that shows you all the different chests nearby. You would be amazed how quickly you run through that. Outside of that, error codes, we are continuing to investigate ongoing reports of error codes in Destiny 2. Please stay tuned at Bungie Help for further updates and report issues to us in our help forum. Guys, I don't know about y'all. Things actually seem to be better. I haven't been error coded, have y'all? I actually feel like I haven't been error coded since Monday. Everything has been solid. I don't know what Bungie's done, but everything's been pretty good all week. Crota's in 48-hour challenge mode Emblem. Bungie's still probably working on it. Yep. Pretty much the same thing we see every week. Known issues. All right. Players can sometimes become soft-locked during the bladed path by progressing through different steps of the quest at the same time. The path of burning steps tied exotic and associated ornaments no longer change appearance when the solo weapon boost perk is active. The Hoarfrost and Icefall Manotine exotics are using the incorrect cooldowns. Okay. When inspecting weapon details for items stored in player vaults, the weapon perk icons may no longer appear. Some players who do not fully complete the Season of the Deep story missions may be blocked from completing the current Season of the Witch weekly story missions until they finish the previous season story. Wow. Okay. Returning players who did not fully complete the A Guardian Rises intro quest prior to the launch of Nightfall are unable to obtain the Learning Light quest. Multiple pieces of armor can cause obstructions when aiming down sights on the Tessellation Exotic Fusion Rifle. Nothing here about loadouts, guys. I know loadouts are still not pulling pieces from your vault, which is very much annoying. I would suggest just become familiar with DIM, guys. Now, as a final note here from Bungie, and there we have it for this week's TWID. We've officially reached the time of the year where the nights are longer than the days here in the Pacific Northwest. So it's about time to transform into the coziest version of yourself and jump into your favorite Destiny 2 activity until the sun comes up. Well, maybe not that long. Sleep and touching grass before it's covered in snow is good too. Thanks for hanging out with us today. We will see you next week. Same place, same-ish time. Stay crafty, Sam. Light TWAB, guys. Nothing here about Festival of the Lost. I'm sure next week. I thought Festival was going to be launching next week, so I guess it's going to be the week after. But that's the Halloween events. Really cool that we're going to be able to focus weapons, though, through the Gunsmith. And then they're also increasing essentially the way we can earn those Ingrams. So I'm excited about that. And then the rest of this is just us playing Checkmate. I need to go play Checkmate more. I need to just fill things out. I've played, 5 or 6 games of it. I've enjoyed it. I don't know if I'm at that point where I've enjoyed it so much that I'm like, dude, this has got to be the standard. We have got to overall change all of Crucible and go to Checkmate. I haven't reached that point yet, but we'll see today.
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.